Woo.
Ooh.
Does it ever, because we all learned as kids, and, we took classes in school, I remember sometimes.
Yeah.
We had Mavis Beacon
I took classes.
typing assistant. But does it ever, do you ever think about it when you're typing and you're not looking at the keyboard and you're like, I just typed out a whole paragraph.
Sometimes.
Didn't look down at all.
You know, it's funny when you're off of the home row, as they
Uh-huh.
called it when I was young,
Right.
and you're typing, you look down, and it's just utter nonsense.
Yeah.
That ever happened to you?
Yes.
That's why there's those nice little bumps on the F and the J.
Yeah. Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Find it.
My keyboard at home, it's off a little bit because I have a second monitor on my desk.
Yes.
And so I'm just constantly mistyping things because
Yeah.
it's just over and
You look like Matthew Broderick in War Games as you sit there with your
Yeah.
multiple monitors.
Yeah. So,
Good movie.
yeah, that's all I got.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. You want to talk? You want to do the episode?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's 2012. No, it's 212.
212.
It's 212.
Okay.
Is there a thing?
New York
About
City.
that?
No, it's 202. I don't know.
Anything that relates to Batman?
I'm sure there's a Batman issue number 212.
You should find that. You should
Yeah.
find out what happens in Batman number.
I should. I've got the DC app.
That's true. All right, let's record.
Let's do it.
Welcome to episode 212 of the All the Books Show, recorded at the David A. Howe Public Library. We talk book news, author news, and literary news.
That's right.
But today, we're doing a Full House Spotlight.
No.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
That song is really playing in your head. No.
Yeah, it's
we're-
always, you know where it's really playing?
Where?
My heart.
In your heart.
Yeah.
Do you watch Fuller House? Because I know we have those
I
DVDs
haven't
right here
watched
in the
Fuller House,
collection.
not yet.
You could check them out from the David A. Howe Public
That's
Library.
true.
But that's neither here nor there, folks, because
I'm Eric Mickles.
I'm Nick Gunning. And today, we're going to be talking about your friend and mine, the Batman.
What's that kid's book that you read? Batman
is Kind.
Batman is Kind.
Batman is Kind.
We're talking about our kind
Listen,
friend Batman.
I highly recommend the book Batman is Kind for parents out there because it's a fun Batman story, but there's no fighting and it's just about him being kind to people.
Yeah.
Works pretty well.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to be talking about Batman because September 21st is Batman Day. And we're going to have a special episode drop on September 21st. More about that later. But Batman debuted 1939. So
Yeah.
we're celebrating 80 years of Batman.
Should go back to our what episode?
Episode 30 is our very first Batman-themed episode where we talk about really all of our favorite Batman stories. We also did a big Batman rewatch of the movies back in episode 195. You can check that out where we talk about that. And we have a whole DC playlist on soundcloud.com/allthebooks. You can look up our DC Superhero Spotlight for lots of fun interviews and all that sort of thing. But today, I chose a selection of modern comics that I like, and Eric chose a selection from across the time. Different from what that we talked about in episode 30.
That's true.
So we're going to be talking about that a little bit. Would you like to tell who our special guest is for the Batman Day episode?
That's coming out this Saturday.
That's right.
It's comic book legend Steve Englehart.
That's right. Steve Englehart, known
writer
for
of Jurassic Park.
That's true.
Comics.
He wrote Jurassic Park comics. He has an excellent website, which we'll talk about that a little bit more in the actual episode. But SteveEnglehart.com is a treasure trove of exactly like what he wrote, what he worked on, unpublished scripts, everything you could find right there. But a lot of work at Marvel, a lot of work at DC. We're going to be talking a little bit later about a collection of his Batman stories called Strange Apparitions.
Less time at Archie Comics than you would hope for.
Yeah, less time there. But it's a really fascinating interview, so we're excited to air that on Batman Day, September 21st. But today you just have us, and we're going to be talking about some of our favorite Batman stories.
This is episode 212.
Yes.
Do you want to know what Batman 212 had?
Yes.
It's got Batman and Commissioner Gordon on the cover.
Classic.
Commissioner Gordon is lifting up a tarp over a corpse, and Commissioner Gordon says, "Shot, poisoned, and electrocuted. Who could have done this, Batman?" And Batman's answer, "No one, Commissioner."
Oh, my goodness.
What the heck is going on?
I have to read that. I have to read that issue now. That's pretty exciting.
So there you go. Bringing it home a little bit.
Thank you. Thanks for putting a face on that.
Yeah.
Shall we do bookmark?
Yeah, a bat bookmark.
A bat bookmark.
Everything has to be branded today.
Yeah, it's true.
That was a bat face on it, and this is a bat bookmark.
You know, I actually do have some bat-related bookmark-ish news, and that is I finally watched William Shatner in Batman versus Two-Face. This is an animated movie set basically in the continuity of the 60s show, right? I mean, wouldn't you say that?
Yeah.
So you have Adam West reprising the role of Batman in his final role. He passed away shortly after his lines were recorded. Burt Ward coming back as Robin. You have Lee Merriweather, who played Catwoman in the movie, playing a role, and Julie Newmar returns to Catwoman. And for the first time in Batman 66, you have a Two-Face. The movie was a lot of fun. So Shatner voices Two-Face, and the Harvey Dent look is based on basically 1960s Captain Kirk.
Right.
As if like William Shatner was
Had
actually
played the
playing
role,
this
and
role.
that makes sense.
I thought he did a very good job.
Yeah?
Like he was very subdued as Harvey Dent and did a really like menacing Two-Face. So the movie was a lot of fun, and I actually think it worked a little bit better than the first one. What's that called?
Oh, man. Just the Return of the Cape Crusader?
Yeah, I think it is Return of the Cape Crusader. This one just kind of knew what it was doing and found its groove a little bit sooner. So I do recommend that if you haven't seen it, especially if you're a fan of the Batman 66 as well as a Shatner fan, then it's perfect for you. So yeah, I watched that.
We saw Return of the Cape Crusader in theaters, but it was a fairly
We
empty
did.
theater.
It was.
So, yeah.
Killing Joke did all right. We saw
Killing
Killing
Joke
Joke
was a
in
party.
theater as well.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about Batman Harley Quinn, but we
Oof.
did see that in theaters,
Yeah.
and it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, but on to Bookmark. So let's see what I've been reading. It's been kind of a slow week for me. I finished a couple of graphic novels. I finished Batgirl and the Birds of Prey, Volume 1, one we have right here in the collection.
Uh-huh.
Not very good. I'm sick of the Huntress. Just wasn't a very good story.
It's just Huntress.
Thank you. Like Foo Fighters. I finished Green Hal
Wait.
Jordan.
That's it?
What?
That's the review?
Well,
you're
it's
sick
just-
of Huntress?
Yeah,
How
basically.
dare you?
Basically.
You know
Huntress
I'm
just comes
sold out
in
for Huntress.
and she's like, "Oh no, the mob! I have to fight the mob." And they're like, "Okay."
Here's some things about the
It's not
Huntress in
good.
case you don't know who we're talking about. She's got a bow staff. She's got a crossbow.
I never saw a crossbow in this.
Really?
Yeah.
Nick took his headphones off so he didn't have to hear me twice.
Yeah.
Talk about this. Forget it. I don't want to do it.
Okay. I finished Hal Jordan and the
She
Green
wears
Lantern.
purple.
Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps Volume 2. I've been cooking through the Green Lantern stuff. I read a lot of Steve Englehart Green Lantern in preparation for the interview. We do talk about that a little
You
bit.
can't
but
cook with the Green
this
Lantern
is modern.
ring because it doesn't generate heat, correct?
Oh, really? Well, it makes good green eggs and ham.
Oh,
Bring it up. Bring it up
Oh
here.
my gosh.
Bring it up top. I'm currently reading for our Banned Books book club, The Catcher in the Rye by J.D.
remembered it this
Salinger.
time.
I know. Thank you. I did have a moment of panic. And I'm reading The Island of Dr. Moreau by H.G. Wells.
Mm-hmm.
It's spooky so far. It's
Yeah.
a spooky premise, and
I read this in college just
stuff's
for fun.
going down.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it's good stuff.
Anyway, that's it for me.
Oh, okay. Did you finish anything?
I finished those graphic novels. I haven't finished like a full novel since last time.
Are you reading any Mega Man?
I am, yeah. Gigamix Volume 2 from our collection here.
Nice.
Yep. We've got a great assortment of graphic novels for all ages, folks. If you're not aware of this, please come check them
And
out.
a good selection of Mega Man and Sonic.
Yeah,
Sonic the Hedgehog.
that's
still,
true.
still
Although
going.
those, much like books on witchcraft, seem to vanish more than anything else.
Yeah, that's true.
They
kids,
just go.
Kids get their
They love
Sonic comic and like, this is mine forever.
I'm never bringing it back. The
Yeah.
connection between a kid and his Mega Man comic is
it's pure.
runs deep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Mega
What
Man
about you?
Did you read Sonic comics when you were a kid? Because that started like right as the Sega
I
was out.
read like a 4-part Princess Sally miniseries,
Okay.
and I was all in.
Yeah.
But other than that, I didn't read a ton of the
'Cause
comics.
It's kind of like mind blowing that like until just like this recent reboot, it was
Yeah.
one Sonic the
Yeah.
Hedgehog
It's
continuity in
intense.
comics.
It really is intense.
All right.
I loved the more serious Sonic show with Jaleel
Yeah.
White, the cartoon. That was good
With
stuff.
Princess Sally.
Princess Sally,
Yeah.
and Urkel.
Yeah, where they're like freedom fighters.
Yeah.
Against Dr. Robotnik's
Yes.
like post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
I remember that really like seeming really dark and serious to me as a kid.
And it was weird because it was on like concurrently with the Sonic
Yeah.
the Hedgehog show or Robotnik was like, "Oh no, I
Yeah.
slipped in the shower."
There was the Roadrunner one,
crazy.
and then there was the We're at War.
yeah, the Mad Max one.
Yeah. Tails is always putting out cigarettes on
Right.
his own hand. Why do you do that? Just to see if I can fail anymore. I can't. All right. What I
You,
finished.
yeah, you.
I
Let's
read-
take it away.
I finished the book Armor.
Oh, you did?
by John Steakley.
Yeah, you've been chipping away at that bad
So I
boy.
told you before
Yeah.
that it opened with the character Felix. We were watching him at war.
Yeah.
And then we went to like the future
Yes.
of that story.
Sure.
And now we were paying and they had found his suit.
Mm-hmm.
Things get even trippier than that.
Really?
We find out some stuff about Felix's life
Mhm.
that it's just they just keep getting mad at Felix as they like experience his story through that suit's memory that he
Intense.
just won't die and he keeps
Okay.
living through hell. And then the part 3 ends with the sentence, "We didn't know what hell was."
Oh,
and then
wow.
we hear about like Felix's last story on the planet Banshee.
This sounds darker than that Sonic the Hedgehog show.
It is. The ending is just like you just want to like grab someone like why. So yes, this is military sci-fi, but it really is just about like the psychological effects of war
Yeah.
and also the armor we wear as
Right.
people. So
Yikes.
it was interesting. It was not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
What else did I finish? Oh, I read Captain America and the Falcon, Secret Empire by Steve Englehart.
By Steve Englehart, friend of the show.
Because the X-Men show up in this. Because did he mention it at all on the Batman one? Because we asked him some X-Men questions for a different episode.
I don't think so. Well, yes, he did.
Okay.
Yeah, he did.
He wrote the X-Men, and for a while, he was like one of the only people writing the X-Men.
Yeah.
Because the comics, the original series was canceled like at 66 or something. And so he would just either write them in the Avengers or this Captain America, and that was the only time you could read new X-Men stories.
And kept the light on for our favorite mutants.
Yeah, Secret Empire is like a political story with Captain America. It came after Watergate. Basically, there's this secret empire trying to take things over, and Captain America is chasing them down. They're framing Captain America for murder. Everybody's turning on him, and at the end, basically, this is where Captain America quits and becomes Nomad.
Oh.
He quits being Captain America.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Because he can't. He realizes there's a whole issue. It's just one issue where he's just talking about his reasoning. It's like,
wow,
I joined Captain America. I became Captain America to do this. The government has done this now, and all. It's funny because one of the villains is like, Watergate couldn't have come at a perfect time for us.
Yeah.
We didn't plan it, but how convenient for us. And so like he's just doing this existential crisis. It's just him talking for a whole issue.
Wow.
And finally he's like, I can't be Captain America anymore. And even the dialogue, one of the captions just like, we know this wasn't a action-packed issue you're used to, but we had to tell this story.
Yeah. That's intense.
And so it's funny because it's very relevant to today,
yes,
which is sad.
Yes.
But also the X-Men show up, and it's not just like hey, we're here, see you later. It's like they're real mutants, and the X-Men are really integral to this.
Wow,
too.
that's cool.
So Falcon gets his wings for the first time in this.
Good for him.
He couldn't fly before. He was getting tired of just being like he's like an Olympian.
Okay.
At just being athletic.
Right, sure.
He can jump and punch and everything, but he's
Yeah.
like, I got no powers.
Yeah.
So Black Panther makes him some wings.
Wow. That's nice.
It's a crazy couple issues.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So also at the end, Captain America goes to the White House. That's how high this
all the way to the top.
The Secret Empire goes. He goes there. The guy takes off his mask. We don't see his face, but Captain America's like, no, not you. He's like, that's right. Political power wasn't enough for me, and then shoots himself.
Jeez.
And we never find out who he is, but it's like, it could have been the president. It could have been the vice
intense.
president.
That's very intense.
Yeah. All right. I read, I've been reading all new XFactor by Peter David.
Yeah, I read that.
Did you?
Yeah.
All new.
Oh, is that
X-Factor?
different?
Yeah,
I read
this
Peter
is
David's
different.
X-Factor. I don't know.
This is more recent. This is like
okay.
right after his other X-Factor run, which was more recent than the one you read.
I can't keep
I also
up.
started reading Weapon X: The Return. This is by Frank. Oh, you know his name, Terry. Frank Terry.
I can't tell you.
All right. Well, anyway, this came out in like 2002. It started. It starts with like the first Wolverine and Deadpool comics I had ever actually read as a teenager, where Weapon X is back. The program is
look
back.
out now.
And so they capture Wolverine and give Sabretooth his medal and everything. Deadpool, and I had this trade paperback that I loved, which was just the two of them. And I was like, this is great. I don't know where it is now. I think we might have it now here at the library.
Nice.
I have to double check. But
Graphic novel collection.
I really liked it as a teenager, and then this series kind of spawned out of it. And it's weird. The guy writes these characters very out of character.
Okay.
Like Aurora from Alpha Flight is there, but she's written like this horrible person that I'm just not familiar with, and all these other characters making these choices that don't make any sense. But it's also kind of like intriguing in the same way that like a car wreck, you don't want to slow down when you see a car wreck,
right?
But you do. That's reading all 24 issues of Weapon X and then the series after this.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm in the middle of that, and I'm also started reading. I'm 2 chapters into The Mechanical Failure by Joe Zaija. Do you think I said that right?
Probably not.
Zaija?
Just given history, I would say.
Expert novice from Overclocked Remix.
Yeah.
This is a sci-fi military comedy, I guess you would say.
That's fun.
So far, it's actually made me laugh out loud a few times.
Really?
And I can't think of many books where I've been reading them like, that's funny.
Yeah, you're cold. You're a cold fish.
There's a ship, and it's called like Galagari or something. And they're like, we're going to fry the Galagaris. And someone is like, we're frying calamari? He's like, no. And then like that made me laugh. But then we read a little bit more, and then we cut back. The guy turns the radio back on to the pirates that he's been talking to, and they're like, we can make calamari. It's fine. We have the shrimp and everything. And I'm like, that's funny. So, that's what I'm reading right now.
Okay.
Also, I watched Martin Scorsese's The King of Comedy.
Oh.
Starring Robert De Niro and Jerry Lewis.
Oh, yeah.
I watched it because, one, because I haven't seen it, and this is a Scorsese film.
Yeah.
But it's kind of back in the news again because Joker, the new Joker movie that's coming out, a lot of people are saying it cribs some stuff from this film.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good. It's funny, but the main character is very sad. So just like you're laughing, but it's also when you really think about Robert De Niro's character, you're like, oh man.
Doesn't Robert De Niro also play a comedian in Joker?
He's playing a talk show host in Joker,
I see.
which it plays into the King of Comedy because movies basically Robert De Niro is trying to get on Jerry Lewis's late night talk show to do his stand up.
Oh, okay.
And he's, basically going about it the very wrong way.
Okay.
So it's pretty funny at times. And the ending is kind of like, is this real? Is this not real? And I think in the 80s, when this first came out, people were like, that's funny. That's probably not real. Mm-hmm. But now you're watching like, yeah, this is real. This happened. So it's interesting how time has changed that question.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, and it's kind of, I guess it was like pretty misunderstood when it came out. People didn't really get what Scorsese was going for, and now it's kind of come back around as people really liking it. I think you might like it.
I was just thinking, it sounded interesting to me.
Jerry Lewis is pretty good in it. I've never seen a thing with Jerry Lewis, I guess, but he seems pretty mild compared to what I know of him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not doing that nice
that thing.
Oh gosh, yeah. All right, that's what I read.
Okay.
And watched.
All right.
Yeah.
Thumbs up
For
the King of Comedy.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
I really like it.
just trying to decide if you... Okay.
I was worried it was going to get like dark and bloody and violent, but it didn't.
Oh,
So-
okay. Well, maybe I will like it then.
Yeah.
All right. You ready to do some book news?
Yeah.
I want to hear what's on the New York Times bestseller list.
I saw something. I don't have the article. I think The Guardian reported on it.
Okay.
The Booker Award had to state that the decision hasn't been made for best book because I guess a bookstore had put on their copies of the Testament that it was the winner of the Booker Award.
That's funny.
So they're like
They're just guessing?
guessing, or maybe like something leaked, but the Booker Award's like, the judges haven't made the decision yet.
I think it's kind of a ways away,
Yeah.
actually.
So
I would be really surprised if
Yeah.
Testament won. I'm surprised it's on there, but
yeah.
I guess we'll see
Yep.
when it happens.
All right. Oh wait. Did
All
I
right.
close? Oh, I closed this.
That happens sometimes.
That happens, yeah. All right. New York Times bestsellers list then for hardcover fiction.
Let's do it.
Do you want me to spoil number one now?
Huh.
No, I won't.
Okay.
We'll get to it.
Okay.
All right.
The winner is going to be announced October 14th, by the way,
Okay.
for the Booker Prize. So you got some time.
All right. Well then, number 10 on the New York Times bestsellers list is The Turn of the Key, which has been here for
Ruth
a
Ware?
while.
Is that Ruth Ware?
Ruth Ware
Okay.
for 5 weeks. A nanny working in a technologically laden house in Scotland goes to jail when one of the children dies.
Oh.
It's like The Shining, but with computers.
Okay.
Is that the Disney Channel's original movie, Smart House?
Maybe, yeah.
Number 9, The Dark Side, by Danielle Steele. Painful childhood memories surface for Zoe Morgan when she has a child of her own, and she realizes that children lead to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
Yeah.
This is the path of the dark side.
I understand, yeah. What's that new Darth Vader comic we have in the collection?
Dark
by the way?
Visions, I don't know.
That's crazy.
It looks like a standalone.
He's like riding a horse.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, he has like a shield. It's
Yeah,
confusing.
he's got a shield and a lightsaber. He's riding a horse.
I picked it up. It doesn't look like it's part of like any series.
No, it
like
doesn't.
It just kind of came out.
Standalone.
I thought they've been doing this like Age of the Republic or something miniseries where everybody gets a spotlight, and I thought they were done. But today on my Marvel Unlimited app, Darth Grievous was there with it. So I guess like it's still going.
I guess it's
or at least
happening.
it's still going 6 months ago.
I guess it's happening.
Number 8, The Inn by James Patterson and Candace Fox. A former Boston police detective who is now an innkeeper must shield a seaside town from a crew of criminals and also get a sweet cup of chata.
That really snuck up on me at the end. I liked it.
All right, number 7. Oh, new this week. The Secrets We Keep by Laura Prescott.
I have no emotions attached to that.
All right, during the Cold War, members of the CIA's typing pool aid its mission to smuggle the banned book Dr. Zhivago behind the Iron Curtain.
Interesting. Well, it's a good time coming out. Banned Books Week's coming right up.
Yeah, was Dr. Zhivago a banned book?
I think it was, yeah.
Oh, I've never seen the movie.
I haven't seen it either.
Or the remake with
No.
Keira Knightley?
I haven't seen it.
Seems like a mistake.
It does, yeah.
What's the last Keira Knightley movie you watched?
Pirates 4, 5? The last Pirates movie. She was
5.
in it, and I saw that.
Yeah, okay. I guess the last one where she had like a speaking role that I watched was that I Can't Leave You Behind, or
Yes,
Take
for
My
the like
Organs,
horror.
Please.
Yeah. That's a page-to-screen adaptation, by the way.
Oh yeah. I still haven't seen Keeping Friends at the End of the Universe.
I love that with Steve
I
Carell.
made up that title. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, Seeking
Friends
a Friend for the End of the Universe, something like that.
End of the World. There
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Okay. Sorry, Keira Knightley. Please don't let this affect our dinner plans.
Is she listening? Wow. Hey, Keira.
The Girl Who Lived Twice as number 6 by David Lacrantz. Michael Blomkis.
Just put your head between your knees for a minute.
Michael Blomkis helps Lisbeth Salander put her past behind her in the latest installment of Stieg Larsson's Millennium series.
Yep. Dragon Tattoo.
Yeah. Millennium in 2019.
Millennium Falcon.
Oh,
Different
yeah.
than Millennium Falcon?
Yeah. Number 5, A Better Man by Louise Penny. The 15th book of the Chief Inspector Gamache. The search for a missing girl is imperiled by the rising floodwaters across the province.
I thought you were going to say the search for Spock.
Search for Spock.
I perked right up.
Yeah. Well,
underrated.
It's not rising floodwaters. It's just an exploding planet they have to deal with.
Yeah.
So that also kind of imperils their search.
That's true.
We need to find him.
Is Christopher Lloyd in this as well, or is it just...
No.
Okay.
Hey, would you say Captain Kirk still has patience for Christopher Lloyd's character, or do you think he's had enough?
I think he's had enough. I think he has had enough of Christopher Lloyd.
All right, number 4, The Oracle by Jonathan Cahn. Not the other Cahn.
Barbara Gordon is... Oh, James Caan.
James Caan.
James Caan wrote a book about Batgirl. Is that what you're saying?
No, good one.
Okay, thank you.
The Oracle by Jonathan Cahn.
Okay.
A traveler discovers mysterious hidden... I see.
So all these are vaguely Star Trek related then.
I guess they could be,
Search for Spock, and now we've got Khan.
Yeah.
Next one's got to be about the motion picture.
Okay, yeah. We'll see if that works.
Okay.
A traveler discovers mysteries hidden behind 7 locked doors.
Wait, is this still...
That's the Oracle.
This is Khan. Okay.
This is Khan.
All right. Because that works. That works for the motion picture.
No. All right.
All right.
Number 3. The Tender Land by William Kent Kruger.
I don't know.
4 orphans escape a Minnesota school and encounter a cross-section of different people struggling during the Great Depression.
I don't think so.
Remember how in the motion picture, Decker Unit
Yes.
is also meeting a cross-section of people.
Does that say anything about 40 consecutive minutes of panning the Enterprise?
No.
Darn it. Okay.
All right.
That's where it falls apart.
All right.
Number 2.
J.D. Rob Vendetta in Death, the 49th book in the Death series.
Mm-hmm.
Ava Dallas looks into the misdeeds of a wealthy businessman, while a vigilant named Lady Justice uses disguises to avenge women who were wronged, and also broker a peace treaty with the Klingons.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
That is the undiscovered country.
That was
peace.
unexpected. That was nice. I want to remind everyone that these J.D. Rob books, the In Death books, are science fiction.
Oh, that's right.
They are set in the future, and they have a vague scientific sci-fi background undertones.
Okay.
Never read one. Keep meaning to.
Number 1 is Where the Crawdads Sing.
Oh.
Yep.
It's back?
Yeah. Basically, Spock reveals that he has a brother who he's never mentioned before.
Yes.
This brother has the power to
Sybok.
take your emotions, your anger.
I couldn't help but notice your pain.
And your pain, right.
Yeah.
And so they're basically looking for God in the movie.
Look, if I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. Star Trek V is underrated. Where the Crawdads Sing, a skosh overrated.
Ooh.
If I may be so bold. Good book, very compelling, a little underwritten. That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
I did recommend it to a friend recently who was trying to get back into the habit of reading.
Like Whoopi Goldberg.
She devoured it, loved it. So
okay. Was it Whoopi?
It was not Whoopi Goldberg. I imagine she's probably read it.
Sure.
I think Whoopi's read it.
Yeah.
She seems well read.
Yeah. She doesn't.
Also in Star Trek. So I don't, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It just happens.
Yeah. Boy.
Yeah.
Everything comes full circle.
It does.
Just like in
Star Trek 2009.
I was going to say 4. I can't remember what 4 is. 5? 4.
Yeah.
Journey home.
Voyage home.
Yeah.
Full circle.
To go back in time. Stupid.
Okay, Crawdads made it back to the top.
It's not going anywhere for a while.
Good for Crawdads.
Settle in with Crawdads.
Settling in.
Would you say this is a beach read?
I'm sorry, I just have to take care of some business really quick. If I could, Fenwick, could you come over here? Fenwick, the All the Books historian, has been sitting there, and he takes notes every time and just wants to get everything in the record. So I just want to let the record reflect that 10 years ago to the day, I held auditions for a play, and Eric came to audition for that play, and that's where we first met 10 years ago today.
Oh, my goodness.
I want that in the All the Books archives. Thank you, Fenwick.
And now, in 10 years, we'll look back at episode 212 of All the Books.
And we'll remember. Yep, we will remember. All right, thank you, Fenwick. All right, shall we?
I had to get convinced. I didn't want. I was going
You
to
didn't wanna
go
go?
to the play rehearsals.
Yeah.
It's like maybe I
Auditions.
will, because
Yep.
when I started my first year of college there,
Yeah.
I was so into just being friendly,
Yeah.
smiling,
Yeah.
and trying every new thing, going to everything that was like new students.
hot
can come-
yoga.
I was
there.
I was. If there was a thing for new students to meet people,
You were
I was
there.
there. I was like, "Hey, what's
Open.
going on?" I
What a
was learning
different
people's
time that
names
must have
and
been.
asking them their favorite animals, so then I could remember their names.
Be like, hey,
Yeah.
Joshua.
Listen,
Cheetahs.
I haven't talked to Teresa
Yeah.
since my first year there,
Yeah.
but her favorite animal was the elephant.
Oh, good choice,
And I'll
Teresa.
remember that forever because
They can
of that.
paint.
They sure can.
They can paint. Well, if you want to know, the play was House on the Cliff
It
by the
was.
late George Batson.
Yeah.
Eric came to a special. I didn't get enough men to audition for the first couple,
Yeah.
so I did one more. Eric came.
Yeah.
Michael Blankenship, longtime listener to the podcast,
Yeah.
also came.
Yeah.
And three of us met that day.
It was the second floor of the library.
It was,
And
yeah.
I was hesitant like the whole time. I even looked in.
So we
You-
even met in a library.
That's true.
Fenwick, get that down. Thank you, buddy.
I was looking in the glass room and I'm like, I don't know. And I was about to leave and
Yeah.
just go. And then you saw me and like, no, come on in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you had
I
to
was-
wave me in.
Much cooler than that,
Yeah.
but yeah.
And the rest is history.
The rest is
So,
history.
same thing happened the year after, though, where you were doing Jake's Women. I'm like, I'm not
Yeah.
doing it. And then
Yeah.
I read the synopsis. I'm like, oh, this sounds like a Frasier episode I
Yeah,
like.
it's true. It really
So,
does.
I was always very hesitant to do it. I
I-
think with
yeah.
Dragnet and Father of the Bride, I was more like, let's do this.
Yeah.
So,
For our spotlight on Neil Simon, writer
Mm-hmm.
of Jake's Women, you can look at episode 45 where we talk about that play in detail.
the trying new things, though, paid off.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have gone if someone else you had cast in the show,
Yeah.
Amy
Yeah, Amy Pinkerton.
Pinkerton, had suggested I go to it, and I had met her at one of those new student meet things.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Oh, yeah,
It
yeah.
all
Yep.
fed into
So
itself.
on this day in all the book's history,
Yep.
let the record state, is his name Fenwick? Because I've been calling him that really, really confidently.
You
but
mean Joshua?
Every time. Is his name Joshua?
Yeah.
Why did I get Fenwick?
I don't know. I think he's just been so polite. He hasn't changed
Let's
anything.
both pretend like it's a nickname we gave him.
Okay.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, that's Mr.
Hey,
Fenwick.
Fenwick. I know
historian,
your real
yeah.
name. Jeez. All right.
It's Joshua.
Just move it along.
Okay.
So we're going to be talking about Batman today because, fun fact, this building had been open and in operation for 2 full years by the time Bob Kane and Bill Finger decided
Oh
to
my gosh.
write Batman.
This building is older
This
than Batman.
library was going strong, and then
Uh-huh.
Batman came along.
Ruined,
So
yeah.
this library, this room that we're in, existed in a pre-Batman time. So
There you go.
pretty much. Should we just close the spotlight right there?
Yeah, I
think
guess
that
that's
pretty
it.
much did it.
That's
Okay,
as
well,
good as it gets.
as I mentioned at the tip top of the show, we talked about some of our favorite Batman stories back in episode 30, so you can
We
revisit
did like a
that
top
at-
5.
We did. It's soundcloud.com/allthebooks, episode 30. I think it's All the Books, Batman v. All the Books.
It was whatever was the title of the movie, which is Batman v Superman.
And in the next
So
one,
it's
episode 31, is All the Books v. Superman.
Yes.
So, and you know what? Those 2 episodes, even though they were early in the run, better than the movie Batman v Superman. So feel free to take a listen to those.
You know, if you edit them together, you get the All the Books v Batman v Superman Ultimate Cut.
Yeah, you do. That's
So-
true. And if you add a 2 hours runtime, it's almost as long as Batman v Superman. Oh, that movie was bad, and I don't care. Who knows? Let's talk about. I need it to be out there. Fenwick.
Don't you own the Ultimate Cut?
I do.
On
It is
Blu-ray?
better. It is better. I've got to
Uh-huh.
say, it's better.
I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, it makes the plot begins to make sense. It's not a good plot, but
That's
it
the
makes
one
sense.
where somebody is robbing a bank and Superman holds his head underwater until the bubbles
yeah,
stop.
yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh no, I did it again."
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Superman, everybody.
Superman becomes an unapologetic serial killer in that one, as I recall. How do you want to get into this? I've chosen some modern ones, and no, before you ask, I did not include Batman 66 and Wonder Woman 77, although I loved that.
Okay.
And that was an excellent example of taking those and adapting them. I didn't mention that.
Okay.
So you've got a peppered in an assortment of things written all across the history of Batman, but are new for you.
Right.
Okay.
I read so much Batman that it was just kind of like, and I was looking back to when I was. I had that phase. I'm like, I haven't read all the Batman.
I remember
stories.
that.
And so a whole bunch came up. I'm like, I'll pick 5 from there to now.
Okay.
That I've read that I've really liked. So
Well, let's talk about Batman 100 because I know that's on your list.
that's on my list. Batman year 100.
And I only read that because you got it from Interlibrary Loan, and I was like, well, before we send it back, I'll read it.
I had always. This is by Paul Pope, and I had
Yes.
always read things about how Batman Year 100 was interesting and all this, but the art was always just so grotesque that I avoided it. And then just because it was on that list and I was like, I'm running out of the Batman classics that I haven't read, I picked it up and I really enjoyed it. And it's probably because it is so referential to past Batman things, talking about how it's like 100 years in the future or 100 years since 1939. So it's 2039. And they mention how Batman has been going since 1939.
Right.
And every like incarnation of Batman we're familiar with has been like a reappearance of the character.
Yeah.
So they mentioned like he came back in 89 and then there he was again in like 2005. And so it's just kind of mentioning every time we've seen like a new Batman or a new reboot, it's a different character taking on the name of Batman. And so Batman's like a legacy character in this. It's cool.
And I just think it works really well.
Yeah.
I was initially turned off because of the art.
Yeah.
The art it's just, I mean, it's very stylized. You have to just roll with it. You know what I mean? And sometimes that really, I just can't enjoy it because the art's so unpleasant. But I thought that like the art in this works so well to tell the story that it just sort of becomes like one part of it in a really successful way. So I was not expecting to like this, but I loved it. And I would put it in my top Batman stories. Wow. Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, this was one of the more recent ones that I read that I really liked.
And how old is that? Because I was thinking
Batman Year 100?
Yeah.
I thought it was older than it was too, because I feel like I've been reading about it forever. But it had to be after at least 2005.
You think it was? Yeah, I guess
because they
mentioned Batman Begins, basically.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. 2006. Yep.
There you go.
Yep. 4-issue miniseries.
So
wow.
Out of some of the more recent Batman stuff I read, I like that one. All right, what about you? Yours is in the past like couple of years that they've been out.
I did. I've tried to do like the last maybe 2 years. So some of these you can talk about how angry they make you.
No, that's all right.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna choose the one I think that maybe will make you the angriest, just so we can get it out of the way, and that is Batman Superman Volume 5, Truth Hurts.
Oh, this would make me angry because James Gordon is
Batman. Because it's James Gordon is Batman. All
and
right,
Superman without powers.
Superman without powers.
Yeah, this doesn't make me angry, but this is definitely like you have to have like the right confluence. You have to be in the eye of the storm to really appreciate everything that's happening here.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. So, yeah, this is a time where Superman is depowered, and it's great. I love that whole arc.
Love that whole... Greg Pak did the whole thing?
No, the author of American Born Chinese started that. What's Gene Yang? Something like that. Started that. And then it ran throughout multiple titles for several issues.
Gene Lun Yang.
Thank you. And then meanwhile, Bruce Wayne is done being Batman, and Jim Gordon takes over as Batman, but in a
robot
big
suit.
Robot suit. Okay, and it's the kind of thing where like you do not want that to happen forever. You know what I mean? You're not like, great, this is the new thing, and something drastic like that. You know, you're not going to get into it forever. So I think that people were really divided about this arc.
I haven't read it yet.
I felt pretty good about it because I thought like it still maintained a Batman vibe, but you're looking at everything from a totally different angle. Right. I thought it just really, really worked. So while I wouldn't put the Jim Gordon Batman run, and Scott Snyder's like Super Heavy is another title that's in there, that run, which we do have in our collection here, that is... not something that I would say like my top 5 Batman stories of all time. Right. But I think as a Batman fan, having read, a million Batman stories over the years, it was pretty cool to see them successfully shift things away and focus on a very different type. Because we've seen like Dick Grayson as Batman or some other things, but the core is still pretty similar. No?
Azrael?
Yeah, John Paul Valley, sure, as Batman for a while there. But this Jim Gordon run...
Heck, we even saw Ben Affleck as a Batman for a while.
Yes, we did. But I don't know. I just think this really works as an interesting little like sidetrack.
Sure.
Don't confuse me saying that I like this with saying it's the best Batman story ever. Okay. But I think in recent years, this whole arc paid off really well if you have like the patience and the understanding that it's a temporary little cul-de-sac that you're on. So... check it out.
You strangely respond well to the superheroes getting depowered because you also really like the Wonder Woman getting depowered in the
Denny O'Neil's
70s?
Wonder Woman,
and that was like that was also kind of like people were not happy for a while.
They weren't, and I think that what I have with that, so if you haven't read that, that's collected in a 4-volume set, All New Wonder Woman, I think it's called. But basically, Wonder Woman becomes just like a secret agent, going around, no powers. Right. So she kind of renounces all that, and for me, it was like I know that this is just 4 volumes and it's one and done. I think at the time people thought
it was forever.
Basically, the only powerful female superhero is gone,
Right.
and you just have like another little tough spy.
Supergirl's
character.
still stuck at the orphanage.
Basically, yeah. So for me, it worked. But yeah, I do like that. I like when it's just a little like, let's take a look at this. So, but I thought that out of that whole run, I chose Batman, Superman Volume 5, Truth Hurts, because I thought it was the best sort of confluence of things that came together at that time. So that's why I chose that one first for mine.
Okay. All right. Well, then the next one I'll pick. It's older, so this is probably the oldest book on my list. But and we've talked about it a few times, so I won't get too far into it. But Batman: Strange Apparitions.
Oh yes.
This was one that was also on the list of like, oh, if you ever read these classics, you definitely should. And I was just kind of like taken aback by how much I really like these by Steve Englehart.
Yeah.
Because they scratched the itch that I get for like Marvel 70s kind of soap opera stuff. You can definitely tell that he worked at Marvel and came over to DC because I think he brings a lot of the Marvel sensibilities over there.
Yeah, we got into this a little in the interview. But
right, and we'll let him talk more about that. But really, it is just like they're not these like big adventures where Batman's like going across the world, and it's not like these goofier like Joker on a giant typewriter kind of stories, but they're still kind of
typewriter's so big.
They're still they're cool. It has this like eerie kind of almost like Monster Comics vibe, and I just really got into it. And I was surprised how into the non-superheroic stuff I was, like the soap opera elements between Batman and Silver Cloud. I really got into, and I just wanted more. And there's not.
Yeah, I know. It's true. It's such a good run. It's so captivating, and then it's just like
it kind of gives.
And
you
I
like,
read a little beyond that because on the DC app, you can keep going. And so I did read a couple afterwards, and you can sort of like the spark is not there, like the tone and I think the mindset is there, but you're missing that which makes it work.
Yeah. It almost creates like this alternate universe where like if you reading that, you're like, imagine if like DC had figured out whatever Marvel was doing before Marvel did. In those like 6 or 8 issues that he wrote, it's like, oh, this would be a weird alternate. What would this also look like in all the other characters? So that is one that I've read recently that is up there with some of my favorites now.
Okay.
All right, what's another?
We've got 2 that kind of go together. Would you like to talk Frank Miller, or you want to save that for later?
No, let's do it now.
Okay.
Because I think this is where I was like, why do you hurt me? But I think another one. There were 2 that here that I was like, why do you do this, Nick?
All right. Well, so I mean, why don't you talk a little bit about Frank Miller's Batman? We're going to be doing Batman Year 1 for our book club. If you're local, you can join us on the 19th at 4 o'clock right here at the David A. Hunt Public Library. Where we're going to talk about Year 1, which is great.
And then show the movie.
That's right. We're going to show the movie the following day, Saturday the 21st, which is Batman Day.
Batman Day.
At 3 o'clock
also
down
have some
in the
coloring
auditorium.
activity sheets for the kids.
That's fun.
So I mean, Frank Miller wrote Dark Knight Returns in the 80s and was a big seminal moment for comic books that kind of like shook the medium and the industry. And then later he wrote Batman Year 1, which is 4 issues. Yeah. 4 issues of basically him retelling Batman's origin, updating it.
You know, what's interesting about that, too, is that it is actually in line
with
it's
the
just
comics.
in they're numbered issues.
Batman comics.
It's not a standalone thing, so it's just strange.
Yeah. And that's kind of been his like standard origin for a while. Even though Scott Snyder did Batman 0 Year, I still think people are...
I don't see that
0
as
Year
having the longevity.
Replace Year 1 in people's minds as like his origin.
And actually, we didn't get to talk to Englehart about this, but Steve Englehart does a little tag onto Year 1 in a separate title around that time in the same style, and it's really neat to sort of see that continue a little bit. So I'll share that with you. But
what was I going to say? Oh, Year 1 has definitely been... They're talking about using it for the new Batman movie they're doing with...
Pattinson. Robert Pattinson.
But that confuses me because I'm like, Batman Begins is basically a shot-for-shot adaptation of Batman Year 1 at times. So,
at times, yeah.
But anyway, he came back to Dark Knight Returns with Dark Knight Strikes Again, which was also a moment, and I could almost say shook the industry in very weird ways. Nobody knew what to do with it. It was a mess. He was writing it, and then 9/11 happened, and so he definitely changed his gears to incorporate a 9/11 like event in the comic that just
it goes off the rails.
It really does. I have to tell you, there were times that I enjoyed it for its wackiness, and then other times where it's like, what are you doing, Miller?
Well, I read this. So the one I had was like it was in two halves.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so I read the first half and really liked it. And I was like, oh, it's
the second half.
I don't
where it
understand
goes
why
bonkers.
people, because it has such a reputation. And then I read that second half and I was like, whoa.
Yep.
Okay.
But anyways,
things got crazy.
Frank Miller came back again to the Dark Knight Returns universe.
You think because of the reputation of Strikes Again?
I think because of the paycheck.
Oh, okay. All right,
maybe
fair
he had more to say. I don't know. He's a crazy guy who the more you learn about him, the less you like him.
Yeah.
For sure. But I don't remember. I think Last Crusade came first, right?
It did.
Okay,
yeah.
so this is on your list.
Okay, yeah. So I chose Last Crusade. So Last Crusade is really kind of a standalone thing, but it's presented to be
a prequel for Dark Knight Returns.
A prequel to Dark Knight Returns, and you have Batman kind of recognizing his age and slowing down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You have him dealing with the death of Jason Todd, and it all just takes place at a time that you don't really do much with in Batman's career.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that moment, like the original Jason
Right.
Todd era, and how Batman was kind of transitioning. People just don't tend to do that. There's not a lot of like trade collection of Jason Todd era, and it's a if you've read those issues, it's just a really kooky time for
Right.
Batman. And I thought that what this book, The Last Crusade, is called The Dark Knight Returns, The Last Crusade, written by Frank Miller and Brian Azzarello. I thought what this
Right.
does so well is captures that time, because I love those 80s Batman stories. You know?
Right.
It captures that time and actually does, to me, smooth out a little bit of the transition from the Batman we know to the Batman that you're seeing in Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm.
So I loved it. I thought that it was really good. It's a slim volume, which we have in our collection.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was great, and I was a big fan of it. Definitely.
Okay. It left me pretty cold.
I know it did, yeah.
Which, each their own. Just take different strokes. You're better when you say it's very standalone, because to me it just didn't feel like had anything to do with Dark Knight Returns.
I agree. I mean, I think as a whole, I think that's fair to say. I think when you see where Batman is, it's always jarring to me. Like I said, to try to go to that transition. And when you look at what Frank Miller does with young Batman in All-Star Batman and Robin, which to me is like a garbage pile.
Right.
It's really like even that doesn't really make sense. So I do feel like this kind of is bridging a gap, even though it doesn't really feel like it belongs stylistically with Dark Knight.
It would have been. It
Returns.
was that you?
No.
Knocking?
No.
Oh.
True pause. Come in. Hey, that's all right. What's up?
Is this the couch?
All right, one sec. You guys saw slightly technical difficulties.
Okay.
It might have served The Last Crusade better for at least people like me if he hadn't connected it, and then we were left to guess whether
Yeah,
it was in the universe.
that's true.
And then we decided ourselves.
If it was just called like Batman: The Last Crusade,
Yeah.
but it's called Dark
And then
Knight.
we're like, oh, does this fit in? Oh, I
Right.
don't know. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So one book that's on my pick is Batman: The Dark Knight, The Master Race,
Mm-hmm.
which still to me isn't like as important as The Dark Knight Returns, but I ended up really liking this one. It deals a lot with Krypton coming back, Kandor.
So this is basically the third,
Yeah.
the third in that run.
Yeah.
It closes out like the Dark Knight
It's the
Returns
end, yeah.
saga,
And it's a big Superman plays a big role in this, and probably the best light Superman's been.
Oh, in Frank
in
Miller's,
Frank
yes.
Miller's hands.
No question.
But I really like the stuff with Carrie Kelly. I just really like the end for as dark as The Dark Knight Returns is. This has a really hopeful, happy ending for Batman.
It does, yeah.
As much as you can get out of an ending for Batman,
Yeah.
this one left me like, I like this.
I think that so I actually have this on my list. I just wasn't going to include it because I thought maybe you would.
I did.
But it's there. I think what it does is it still maintains sort of the grittiness of the Frank Miller Batman, and the hope that it gives you, I think, is realistic within that world. It's not too much.
Right.
You know, I think it still fits well, even though those aren't particularly optimistic books. Good use of Carrie Kelly, I think, who is supposed to get a young adult graphic novel written by Frank Miller that they've been talking about for like years. I don't know.
Carrie Kelly's great. I got a Carrie Kelly action figure.
From me.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Fenwick, write that down that I got him a Carrie Kelly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joshua.
Is it really? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Joshua Crenshaw.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. That's not even close. I agree with that. I agree with that choice. That's good. Do you know? I haven't read a lot of like the reviews of how well that was received. Do you know? Are people enjoying
Master
it
Race
overall?
was going well for a while. I think maybe people were less into it as it went on, but maybe he won him back in the end.
I don't think that you can ever really successfully
Yeah.
do that kind of thing again.
Listen, I love the Dark. I'm as cliche as it can be with Batman fans. I love Batman Year One, and I love The Dark Knight Returns.
It's okay, man. You do you.
Okay.
You do you.
I can remember exactly when I was reading The Dark Knight Returns
Well,
because
I would love it if you tell
I just
me.
have to find out when Adult Swim aired The Animatrix. So I was reading it at the same time.
Nice.
Anyway.
I read it I read the Dark Knight Returns when I was like a teenager, right out of high school. Somebody gave it to me, and I was like, no, I don't. This is not. Because at that point, I was really just like Silver Age, Bronze Age kind of Batman.
You know how
to
much
pick
I
that
need.
Up, I was like,
how much I need affirmation from
I do.
sometimes relative strangers.
I'm aware.
I went to the comic book store. Somebody had done a comic book documentary. I think it might have been PBS.
Okay.
This was like right as like Spider-Man and maybe Hulk were coming out.
I've heard of
them. They
them.
did this whole thing, Comics in Context or something, and they talked about the Dark Knight Returns and Sandman and Frank Miller's Daredevil. I went into my comic book store that week and bought The Watchmen, Dark Knight Returns, and Volume 1 of Frank Miller's Daredevil. And the comic book store guy was just like, "Oh, these are some great picks. You're in it now." I'm like, "Yes." That's all I needed.
And your life was changed that very day.
So anyway, what's next? Your next
I've got
pick.
a couple. All right.
All right.
I'm going to do, I'm going to save that one for last.
Oh.
Not because it's my favorite, just because it's a good end stone.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about Batman Rebirth. So I've been going through and reading a lot of the Rebirth titles. The main Batman arc, which we have here, the I Am Suicide,
This is due
I Am
to
Bane,
the
all that
Batman
stuff.
comics falling into the Lazarus pit.
Yeah, they did, and they came back. The main Batman title I wasn't a huge fan of, but Batman Detective Comics Volume 1, Rise of the Batman. For a more contemporary choice, I think is a good one. I've always been a fan of the Batman team, which is another place where we differ. I don't think you really care much about.
I like a certain era.
Yeah.
And I don't like it getting huge, but I like the current stuff, like with Batwoman and whatnot. I prefer Oracle over Barbara Gordon Batgirl.
Yeah, I'm feeling that as well.
I like Cassandra Cain as Batgirl. She's cool.
So this arc is really like a Batman team book.
Is that Tim Drake on the cover?
It is Tim Drake on
Okay,
the
good
cover.
Robin choice.
Yep, Tim Drake is Red Robin. So the team right now is...
Is this spoiler?
Yeah.
Goodness.
So it's
back.
Batman, Bruce Wayne, of course. And then he has... Batwoman as basically his main lieutenant, kind of shepherding the troops of the younger crew. You got Tim Drake as Red Robin. You got Stephanie Brown, former Batgirl, as spoiler. You have Cassandra Cain, who was a Batgirl as she is, and I can't remember what her name is in this.
Okay.
I think maybe it's something like Orphan or something like that.
She is an orphan.
I know. And then you have a reformed Clayface, like as part of the team, which all just works really well.
Okay.
Like their powers go really well together. Batgirl kind of leading the charge throws off the regular Batman dynamic, and I just thought it's a really good modern take on Batman and how it would work to have a Batman team. Quality drops quite a bit in the second issue, but I think as a standalone, Detective Comics Volume 1, Rise of the Batman is very good. That's by James Tynion IV.
Yes.
And others. He's the main author on that, but I'm a fan of this series, and we do have it in the collection, so if you haven't read it, check it out.
I liked, as a kid, when the Batman cartoon went over to WB and became the New Adventures of Batman or whatever it's called, Gotham Knights. I liked his, like, Nightwing, Batgirl, Tim Drake, Robin combo. That was fun. Okay, up next for me is Batman Prey by Doug Moennig? No,
Sorry.
you say it.
I don't know.
Doug
I don't have
Monch.
it up. Okay.
Doug Monch. So this technically this is like supposed to take place pretty soon after Batman Year One. It's very 90s. The Catwoman her costume is very 90s and presented in less flattering 90s ways. There's a character in here whose name I can't remember because it's just stupid in 90s and you hope he never comes back. He's like leathered up and wearing, he's got like a blade, but then he's also got a shorter blade.
Night Scourge.
Yeah, Night Scourge. Oh my god. But it's Hugo Strange, but it's written and it's just so off kilter and so strange. And in the it's before comics did that like widescreen storytelling with their art where the panels were just the whole page.
Right.
But it feels kind of widescreen. It almost feels like a big blockbuster of the 90s while still staying weird. And then like the second half has a scarecrow which gets really dark and gross. But there's just something about it that kind of stuck with me and I've
never read this.
Nice. I wouldn't say it's for everyone, but I dug it.
Would you say that it's for everyone?
Yes.
Oh, you would?
Now that I'm
great.
thinking about it.
Cool, okay.
So, yeah, this was at a time where I read Strange Apparitions.
Yes.
I read this.
Okay.
I read Batman and the Monster Men. I'm like, Hugo Strange was everywhere for me reading for a while.
Yeah.
So, and then I was watching Gotham.
Yeah, and there he is. Hugo Strange.
B.D. Wong was just chewing the scenery
better
like
than
it was
ever.
bubblegum.
All right, I've got two more.
Yeah, same here?
Wow.
Yeah.
Batman White Knight, everyone.
Oh, wait. No, I don't have two more.
By Shaun Gordon Murphy.
I only have one more.
I think you started. By Shaun Gordon Murphy, and this is a more recent, published in 2018.
Yeah.
Part of DC's Black Label, if I'm right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Who knows what the Black Label is anymore?
Who knows?
It's just everything that
DC changes their mind every single day.
Yeah.
8 issues, and this is where the Joker basically gets cured. And there's a lot of and that sort of comes where there's a role reversal, you know, where you have Joker sort of becoming more heroic and Batman losing it a little bit.
Losing his mind.
And there's a lot, I mean a lot of call-outs to different eras of Batman.
Specifically the animated series.
The animated series, yes.
But also
like,
Batman and Robin, like you pointed out. Yeah,
Alfred and Nora Freese have the McGregor syndrome, just like in Batman and Robin. But there are a lot of things like that.
I mean, they call out specific things that happen to the characters that I'm pretty sure are only in the animated series. I mean, Roxy Rocket is in there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, she's in the comics too, I think, but I have to imagine he saw the show and was like, I'm going to put Roxy Rocket in
I would think so. I just think that this really works.
This was cool.
You know, and I think that I'm not a big, like, my brother, for example, loves the Joker, and it's like any Joker story like he wants to read. Yeah. I don't really need to read a Joker story for anything. You know what I mean? Like, I like Joker in a Batman story, but I don't need to like read a story about the Joker. So sorry, Joaquin Phoenix, but this to me I thought really just worked. It just worked. You know, it was cool. It was kind of a variation on what you might expect that it's about. And I just thought it really just like checked all the boxes and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I really liked it.
Okay.
I thought it was we disagreed because I felt it was a bit wordy at times.
Oh no, I didn't.
And 8 issues I was like, okay, I think I started to feel the length a little bit.
I'll give you that. But
no, I really liked it.
Shave it down a little bit.
I had a good time.
I've heard talk of a sequel. Is that true?
That's still happening. Yeah.
That's a mistake. I think. I don't think you need more.
This was on my list, but I figured you'd pick it, so that's why I had another pick.
Well.
Yeah. But yeah, this is definitely. I think that White Knight feels like one of those ones that's gonna go into the modern classics canon.
I think
of Batman. So.
What about Batman Damned?
I haven't read that yet.
Okay, I started it. I haven't finished it. But.
That's the one where we get to see all of Batman.
Yeah.
You
remember that
if you get the right copy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So, yeah, that has John Constantine, so I still got to read that.
Okay.
All right, so my last pick then for a more recent Batman book that I really liked was Batman Earth 1, but Volume 2, because I did not like Volume 1 with the Penguin.
I was unimpressed with that. I don't know that I even read.
Volume 1 is just, it's like an origin story. It's Batman in a different universe, so he's younger.
Yeah. Beware the Batman the animated series borrows a lot from that.
Alfred has like a blunderbuss, and it's just, it did nothing for me. I couldn't tell if they were trying to go for like an ultimate Marvel Universe vibe with it, but it just, I just had no time for it, and I didn't like it. But then I picked up Volume 2, and it was like a complete turnaround. This one has like Killer Croc. It has the Riddler as like the main villain, and there was stuff in it I really liked. And like Hugo Strange, this happened at a time where like I also read a few other books where the Riddler was specifically Scott Snyder's Zero Year, where like the Riddler was everywhere for my books. But yeah,
sometimes he shows up in Batman Hush.
Yeah, sometimes. But I really liked Volume 2 of Batman Earth 1. It was cool. It was still that younger vibe, but the story was just better, I think. The story and the villains just were a better choice this time around. So I liked it. I feel like I can't own it because it's a Volume 2.
Oh.
But I have to own Volume 1.
Yeah, you would have to own Volume 1. That's okay. Maybe they'll put out like an omnibus sometime.
I stuck out my tongue
the two of them together.
Blah. And
I have not read.
I licked the mic.
I've not read Superman Earth 1 Volume 3 or Batman Earth 1 Volume 2. But
I haven't read.
I can tell you the Green Lantern Earth 1 was a real dull letdown.
I wanted to read that
But
one.
I loved Wonder Woman and Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Both of the Volume 1s of that were great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so for my final pick, again, this is probably not one that I would put as my favorite Batman story of all time, but I think, contemporary Batman stories, I think it got a lot right, and that is Batman Volume 7, The Wedding by Tom King. Here's where you and I approach this differently.
Mm-hmm.
I was not religiously reading this title leading up to it. I didn't read any of the, it's gonna happen, it's almost here kind of stuff. So for me, I actually won this at the ALA conference.
Oh, congratulations.
Just this one issue or volume, and I read it, and I just thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I thought it's a good. There's a Catwoman Joker story that I thought
that's
was
very
just great.
Yeah.
I just really thought that was perfect.
The Booster Gold story?
The Booster Gold story is also very cool.
I was still shocked you liked that one.
Yeah.
Because he is a raving lunatic in that show.
He is, but I liked that a lot. And then, of course, at the end, when you have all the various, classic Batman artists and authors coming back and doing a panel of
I like that.
Batman, Catwoman, I just think that,
Yeah.
as a whole, this deserves, I think, a better presentation than it got, because of that. But I also think a story like this is pretty hard not to end with a letdown. And that seems to be the consensus that people...
I never believed one way the wedding was going to go on or off either way. I was just like, if it happens, I'm sure it will break apart.
Right.
If it doesn't happen, I'm sure that's probably what will happen.
I think that's a mistake in the build-up of making it seem like it was a real thing and not just sort of using it to tell a specific story.
I guess I just thought the reasoning behind whatever happens would be better.
Yeah.
And
That's
the
fair.
actual
That's fair.
story part would be better. It would, because the issue of weddings is just letters.
Yeah.
2 letters
Yeah.
being written. And it let me down in terms of just just that issue, really. I mean, I like the Joker Catwoman story in there.
If you want to talk about letdowns, I got a preview of the first volume of Catwoman that follows this.
Oh, yeah.
And it was awful. I mean, it really didn't do anything.
I've come to a understanding that Tom King's biggest problem as a writer, specifically for Batman, isn't his writing, which is quirky and sometimes very annoying and pretentious, but it's Tom King himself who will be in interviews and be like, what I'm about to do is going to change Batman forever, and all this stuff. And it's just like, shut up.
That's annoying.
Write the story. We'll tell you, as the fans, if this is going to be something we keep or call a classic or whatnot. And he's trying to put the cart before the horse sometimes with
that can be a real pain.
his run.
I started the Ed Brubaker Catwoman and was really loving it. And just kind of got away from it. Have you read any of that?
I don't think so. No,
That's
I
a while
read
back.
his Gotham Central for a little bit.
The Darwin Cook visuals in that are so good. It's a lot of fun.
I guess if I had to pick one from Tom King, I don't know. I guess I kind of liked The War of Jokes and Riddles at sometimes, but
no, not for me.
Didn't really love it. It's probably the one I liked the most out of his run, but I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Well,
I like reading it because it's interesting.
That was my final one.
All right.
You want to bring us home?
No, that.
You got your final
I started
one as well. That's right. Okay. I'm back with you now.
How do we feel about Michael Pattinson or whatever his name is? Robert Pattinson? Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'm trying to reserve judgment because anytime they've cast a Batman, there's been a lot of negative backlash. And I think
Batlash.
that
That's actually a character.
And it makes total sense, coming off of Mr. Mom and Beetlejuice, why you'd be like, why the heck would you cast Michael Keaton, which is, an unfair rap for him. And so I'm trying to give Robert Pattinson and Twilight, which you have to say, I'm trying to give that sort of a little room to breathe and see how it's going to go. I mean, I could see it. I could see it working in the right kind of story. The kind of story they're wanting to tell, I could see it working. I don't know that I would have gone with someone with so much baggage right after going with Ben Affleck, who's all baggage. So, I think there just right away, it's pretty impossible to control the narrative. So either they're reckless or they're just super confident having seen what he can do.
Right.
So I hope it's the latter.
All right.
Yeah. What about you?
I like it.
Yeah?
It's I don't remember. You'd have to tell me how I felt about Ben Affleck when it was announced.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe I was like, I remember being more interested in Affleck directing a Batman movie
I agree.
than starring in a Batman movie.
Not for nothing. I think if you take his cinematic portrayal of Batman, if you could just isolate moments and not let it be bogged down with the crappy movie parts, I really liked him as Batman, and I would have liked to have seen him do that in a good movie. You didn't like it?
I guess I just think about the crate going into the guy's head and leaving a blood smear on the wall.
All right, fine. But
it's just hard for me to detach what am I supposed to like about him? I don't think it's Ben Affleck's fault. To agree with you there.
And you hate Justice League, I know. But think about, for me, that opening scene with Batman, on the rooftops, was such a cool Batman scene. More like you see in the cartoons or the comics than I think you ever have in movies before. I just really liked what they were able to tap into that. So I think that given Ben Affleck's directing pedigree, the town and that sort of thing, I would have had a lot of faith in him to put off a good Batman movie. But I think it's a shame we don't get to see it. What did Matt Reeves do?
Dawn and War of the Planet of the Apes.
Okay, sure.
I think what you might know him from.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Robert Pattinson's a pretty good choice. I think he kind of looks the role. I'm not thrilled about them saying we're going to be doing a year one because we got that with Batman Begins. We don't really need the origin movie, but if they're doing an Arkham asylum kind of story, that could be cool. So
one thing, I'm just looking at some of our listener responses here, which we don't have the time to do right now, but somebody mentioned The Long Halloween on Facebook. Kendra mentioned The Long Halloween. I think we talked about that in the last
I think
episode,
it was in my top ones.
That's another one that I feel like could be cool to be adapted. And I've heard some rumors that Matt Reeves is sort of looking at Long Halloween a bit. That started to kind of float around a little bit. So it'd be cool if that was true. I haven't heard anything to confirm it. But
yeah, it'd be cool. They originally talked about the Matt Reeves Batman movie being a kind of standalone, an ultimate Batman movie.
I like all the focus on detective work.
Yeah, that could be fun. Because they really haven't. Even Christian Bale was needing help of everybody.
Yeah.
I think Ben Affleck was much of the detective.
Yeah.
It was just
I feel like Keaton was the most of all. Keaton was actually doing research.
He had a
and
CD
stuff,
player.
Yeah. But he did, he
he had newspapers.
Yeah, he was doing it. So
eating gazpacho.
Yeah.
How do you say it?
A super long table with Vicky Vale. Yep.
So
anyway, those are some of our favorite either recent reads or newer publication Batman stories. You can go back into all the books archives and see some of the older Batman-centric issues. We're very excited to release the Steve Englehart interview, which we did late last week. Lot of good facts in there. So we're excited to have that. So keep an eye out for that on Batman Day, September 21st.
Batman Day.
Remember, you can join us for the Year One Book Club on the 19th at 3 o'clock. You can watch the movie Year One at 3 o'clock on Saturday the 21st. And then right after that, not Batman related, but it's History Week here at the David A. Howe Public Library. So we'll have exhibitions focusing on Allegheny County history. There'll be library tours, stuff in the auditorium every night. It's a packed week, and it's always a lot of fun.
We'll be showing The Dark
Knight. A little
Knight.
Stressful. No, not during that time.
Different time.
A little stressful, but always fun. And we're doing Catcher in the Rye for the Banned Books Book Club. So hope you join us for that as well.
That's a baseball book.
Catcher in the Rye, it's about a catcher. Yep, exactly right. What about you? Anything you want to mention?
We'll be having History Week here soon.
Okay, sure.
So we showed Aladdin, and that was a big big time. A lot of people were excited. I guess we were getting phone calls from some families you're showing the movie, right? So our next after school movie, which is going to be October 4th, if you want a heads up, is going to be Spider-Man Far From Home.
Is that I think we have to check now with both Sony and Disney if Spider-Man's allowed to come.
Divorces are messy.
It is.
Yeah.
I know. It's
so
hard.
And now, who's going to get Spider-Man Far From Home on Christmas?
And if one says no, Spider-Man's running right to the other one.
Yeah.
And it's not helping anything.
It's hard because I think Disney and Sony were happy, but raising a Spider-Man really kind of puts new stresses on a marriage
all
like
the
that.
cracks that were always there suddenly are so much more stressed than they were before.
It's not Spider-Man's fault, but he did kind of
cause it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If I might be so bold.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Next time, we're going to be talking to Steve Englehart. That's going to drop the 21st.
Yep.
And that's going to do it for the All the Book Show. We'll see you next time.
Who do you think has the rights to Mysterio then too. Yeah.
Probably Sony.
Yeah.
So all the
got 'em all.
Mysterio spin-offs.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Are you excited about Morbius? Is that going to happen? Have they shot film
I don't know.
on Morbius?
No, I'm not excited for Morbius.
You're not?
No.
It could be fun.
I guess.
I mean, Venom was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if Sony does this weird thing of getting weird actors to do weird roles.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling, I mean, I like Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Does anybody like whatever his dorky
Jared
face
Leto?
is? Jared Leto?
I think Jared Leto does.
Yeah.
Seems
Okay,
to be
so
a
he'll
fan.
just buy a couple of tickets.
Claire Danes, maybe?
Claire Danes is who?
I don't know.
I mean, I know who Claire Danes is, but who is she to...
Well, they're both in My So-Called Life.
Oh,
together.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm definitely not watching that show then. Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
Because they're also talked about a Kraven the Hunter movie.
I don't want to watch that.
Who is he chasing?
I don't know. It's a good point.
I just don't...
It's a good
We're
point.
just gonna
Venom, I guess. I mean,
I'd watch Kraven the Hunter go against
Chase
Venom.
Venom. Yeah, why not? Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah.
You think?
Did you see Andy Serkis is directing Venom 2?
I did see that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows?
So you've already got, what's his name?
Yeah,
as
Woody
Carnage.
Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson as Carnage. Hopefully they can get him a better wig.
I want a worse wig, actually.
Really?
Maybe when Venom 2 opens, he's just going to be like, all right, enough of this. And
He
just
shaves the head,
Just pull the wig right off and be
Okay,
like,
yeah.
all right, let's do this.
I think it'd be more Cletus Cassidy to pull his hair out one strand at a
Yeah, that's
time.
what you're probably right.
Like, here we go.
Yep.
It's going to be a weird movie. I guess I'm excited for it because it's going to be weird.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how much more can they do with Carnage versus Venom than they did with Venom versus Riot?
I
Because
don't
that
know.
was just a mess of CGI goo.
It was.
Fighting CGI goo.
And I was there for it.
Yeah, that's true. You definitely were in it for Venom. And I had
No.
read all the Venom.
Yeah.
I had read so much Venom
Yeah.
for that. And
But I
you're
guess seems like maybe I'm the true fan.
like, you're the true Venom
I
fan.
guess when you look at it like that.
Yeah. So I do think Sony's... They must be planning, now that Disney's out of the picture for them, to put Tom Hardy and Venom together.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy and Tom Holland together.
Yeah.
They got two Toms.
Yeah.
Disney has all the Chris's.
Yeah. They
They're
got
gonna
all
put
the
all the
Toms.
Toms.
All right,
Who's
Hanks.
left? Tom
Hanks and
Brokaw?
Cruz.
Yeah.
Did you say Tom Brokaw? Just Tom Brokaw.
Who's the Tom who does Dancing with the Stars?
Tom. There's Tom Berenger. There's Tom Bergeron.
I'm talking Tom Berenger.
Okay,
Yeah,
both of
they'll
those.
get Tom
Both
Berenger.
of those would do it.
Tom
Yeah.
Berenger could play Uncle Ben.
Yeah. What do you know? What do you know?
Tom Berenger?
Tom Wilkinson.
Yeah.
But he's already in the DC universe.
Okay,
so,
sure, yeah.
I
Tom
don't know.
Berenger could play Uncle Ben. He's from Haverhill, Massachusetts.
Well, I think Tom Selleck should play Uncle Ben, but
Tom Selleck's dead.
Tom Selleck is not dead.
Oh, Burt Reynolds is dead.
Burt Reynolds is dead.
Sorry.
You think one mustache is the same as any mustache?
I guess so. Sorry. All right. Then,
That's
yeah, you can get Tom
disgusting.
Selleck as Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
Was he ever in a movie with Marissa Tomei?
I don't think so.
That'd be
He was on Friends. Does that help?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay.
So you get those two. I always thought John Hamm was like the right age for Uncle Ben
Yeah.
in this one. And
True.
he's also the same attractive levelness
Yeah.
for Marissa Tomei.
High praise to what's his
Marissa
face?
Tomei is probably older
You
than...
said Marissa Tomei. And you made me forget John Hamm's name.
Yeah, sorry. That happens.
I guess.
I think she's actually older than John Hamm would
Probably
be.
she's older than John Hamm.
Would she be more in line then with Tom Selleck? He must be older than her.
I don't know. That's a tough call. He's probably older, but not by a lot, I would
right.
guess.
This has been All the Books After Hours.
Yep.
All right.
We should bottle this because
Yeah.
this is great.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.